Have you ever noticed that one of the greatest mysteries in the Bible is hidden in just one verse? What if I told you that Genesis 1:7 isn't just describing the creation of the sky, it's revealing how God works in your life even today? Most people read this verse and move on, but when you understand its meaning, you'll never read it the same way again. Genesis 1:7 says, "So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it, and it was so." It sounds simple. God separated the waters, but why? Why were there waters above the sky? Why did God separate them? And what does this have to do with you? Let's find out. Before God spoke these words, the earth was empty. Everything was covered in darkness. Water surrounded the entire world. There was no land, no trees, no animals, no people. Everything was chaos. Then God spoke. He didn't struggle. He didn't fight. He simply commanded. And instantly, the waters separated. A great space appeared between them. That space became the sky. One command from God changed everything. But here's what many people miss. God wasn't only creating the sky. He was creating order. He was turning chaos into purpose. He was preparing the world for life. Nothing God does is random. Every detail has meaning. Now think about your own life. Have you ever felt surrounded by problems? Have you ever wondered why life feels confusing? Have you prayed and asked God, why is this happening to me? Genesis 1:7 gives us an answer. Sometimes, before God builds something beautiful, He first creates separation. He separates confusion from peace, fear from faith, darkness from light. The separation may not feel good, but it always has a purpose. Imagine if God had never separated the waters. There would be no place for life to exist, no place for plants to grow, no place for people to live. The separation was necessary. In the same way, God may be separating you from something today, a relationship, a habit, a job, or a season of your life. It may feel painful. It may not make sense.
But God sees what you cannot. He is preparing something greater. The amazing thing is this: God didn't use force. He used His word. Creation obeyed His voice. The God who spoke the universe into existence is the same God who speaks hope into your life today. If He can command the heavens, He can calm your fears. If He can separate the waters, He can make a way through your impossible situation. Nothing is too difficult for Him. Genesis 1:7 reminds us that God is never confused. He always has a plan, even when you don't understand it, even when you can't see it. He is working behind the scenes. Maybe today your life feels like chaos. Maybe you're waiting for answers. Maybe you're wondering where God is. Remember this: before God filled the earth with life, He first brought order. And before He fulfills His purpose in your life, He may first be preparing you. Trust Him, because the God who separated the waters is still in control. And what He's preparing for you may be greater than you can imagine. But hidden inside this verse are powerful life lessons that many people never notice. Genesis 1:7 says, God brings order before He brings blessings. Before there were trees, animals, or people, there was only confusion. Everything was covered with water. Then God created order. Only after that did life begin. Maybe your life feels messy today. Maybe nothing seems to make sense. This verse reminds us that God often puts things in order before He opens the next door. Here's the second lesson. Sometimes separation is part of God's plan. God separated the waters for a reason. Without that separation, life could not grow. The same can happen in our lives. Sometimes God removes people. Sometimes He closes a door. Sometimes He changes our direction. It may hurt. It may confuse us, but God may be making room for something better. Now, here's a lesson many people miss. God didn't struggle. He simply spoke, and everything changed. That tells us something amazing. Nothing is difficult for God. The problem that looks impossible to you is never impossible for Him. One word from God can change your whole life. There's another lesson hidden in this verse. God works step by step. He didn't create everything in one moment. He prepared the world one day at a time. Sometimes we want quick answers, but God is never in a hurry. His timing is always perfect. If you're waiting today, don't lose hope. God may be preparing you for something bigger than you can see. And finally, this verse teaches us to trust God, even when we don't understand His plan. Imagine watching creation on that day. You might have wondered, why is God separating the waters? The answer wasn't clear at that moment, but later, everyone could see the purpose. The same is true in our lives. Today, you may not understand what God is doing, but one day, His plan will make sense, and He always has a purpose. Trust Him. If this message encouraged you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Jesus Files official, and share it with someone who needs hope today.